Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of our Bone, Blood, and Blade, the Legend of the Five Rings actual play chronicle. I'm the Revenant Sarkon. I'll be a storyteller this evening, and my name is Will. Last we left off, we got to meet the newest member of our coterie, which is Soshi Tetsuro. We saw a little bit of the Soshi castle in the northernmost part of Scorpion territory near the spine of the world, which is the mountain range that separates the southern part of Rokugan from the northern part. We jumped over to Tamori, who was with Doji's wife, and asked about how to handle the different clans and what they should kind of keep in mind when dealing with other people. And we learned that Doji has never had a good interaction with a Scorpion clan member. We also learned the placement of all the encampments. We know that the crab are next to the crane are next to the scorpion, and the scorpion are next to the lion. And then the dragon and phoenix will have to find their places next to them, and we'll see who ends up where. But we did get a little moment where Tamori kind of took an interest in the scorpion delegation that was coming in, because it was completely different from the lion. And there was an interesting standoff moment where the staring got noticed, and instead of introducing themselves and being as friendly as possible, there was a stare down that intimidated the two Scorpion members that made their way over to the crane delegation, and then they just kept on walking. There was a bit of a moment where the Soshi kind of asked one of the serving girls, whose name is Aoyana, to kind of make sure that his tent wasn't set up on any rocks. And they walked over to the tea house where they got seating on the second story balcony. They asked for orange blossom tea and were treated to a moment with some green tea mochi. And they actually started talking to the serving girl for a bit. They discovered that there was a murder in the tea house recently, and that there was talk of Maho running through the streets. But they also learned that the Doji Izanagi, had been placed in charge of what was happening in the city. And they learned that this Doji kind of walks around the city in the tow of two giants, always being in a circle of influence, one being a dragon, which they had kind of met, and one being a crab, who they didn't meet, who was also, they learned, is an Emerald Magistrate. They had a nice chat with Bayushi Saruman, who came up and joined them, and that's when they heard a scream from one of the encampments. We shifted over to Tamori, who was much closer to the scream, because it was it came from one of the crane encampment tents. And they found the body of a young girl with her throat slit. They found that the tent was set up for two of the serving girls. One of them was a serving girl for Minamoto Iku, which is Doji Izanagi's wife. And they found the other girl shaking, kind of crying, and repeatedly asking who would do this to them. As they made their way over, the Bayushi kind of mentioned that he would prefer if the Soshi were in charge of the investigation, especially the one with the tea house, since that was one of the Scorpion clan servants who was killed there. But there was a nice moment where they finally got to introduce themselves to each other. The Soshi took charge of the investigation and kind of had a few of the crane dart off to get supplies and whatnot, and also got rid of his apprentice, his little Soshi member of the class, as it were, of students that were participating in the Kenpuku ceremony for the Topaz Championship. And we got to see that a couple of the Eda had been called for, and Tamori quickly asked to see if the girl was pregnant, which the Eda was more than excited to kind of start carving up. this young girl, and luckily Soshi stopped him before any damage could be done to the body. And that's when we kind of heard from behind everyone that the Soshi would be able to kind of question everyone and kind of have investigate and the authority to investigate the encampment under the Doji's watchful eye, as we left off with the Doji returning in tow with Guro and his own daughter, and establishing his kind of authority over the encampment. This is where we're going to find everyone. It's good to see you.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Yeah, happy New Year, guys.
I'd leave
Happy
you guys
2020.
alone. I'd leave you guys alone for one episode, and when my crane die.
Yep.
This is literally the first time I've met you, so you can't say that.
I mean, he's got you there.
Nah.
I mean, for sure,
Oh,
Tamori.
you
For
and I
sure,
are fine. We go way
Tamori
back.
let you down entirely.
Totally.
Hey, you don't have to make assumptions.
What assumptions? It's a fact.
Yeah. I left you alone without adult supervision
Yeah.
when my crane
I've
died.
been your wife the whole time.
Okay, fair enough. That
Yeah.
was more important. Fair enough.
I have no idea who these people are, and frankly, I don't care.
So so do I know what happened before I got there, or am I finding out now?
You, excuse me. All you know is that there was a scream from your encampment. You had been taken by the Kuni to the site where you saw that her friend, the Nezumi,
Yeah.
had been killed.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Between you, her, and Aguro, you kind of realized that this was whoever did this to the Nezumi caught them off guard.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things where it was a quick, clean death, but it was also very much kind of made to look as inconspicuous as possible. Like he was killed as far as possible into the tall grass just outside the city. People would not have found him.
I saw how incredibly sneaky that thing was.
Yeah.
So that's scary.
Yep. But you did hear a scream. You quickly rushed back to the encampment, and that's when you kind of linked up with your own daughter. The Kuni went over to the crab encampment to pick up some more stuff to kind of get some of the spirits involved in trying to figure out what happened to the Nezumi. And that's when you saw that Tamori Mori was with your wife. There was a scorpion of some kind, one-armed, with a porcelain mask covering the bottom half of your face, you said?
Yeah, it's a red porcelain mask that covers the entire bottom, and then he's got one of the wide hats over the top.
No. Clearly in scorpion colors. And he had just asked if he could round up some of the servants and ask them questions, and that's when you kind of arrived and were like, you will have access to the servants under my supervision.
Yes. First of all, I would say under whose authority? Because I don't know you.
If you don't wish to find who perpetrated this murder, that's perfectly acceptable. I'm offering my services as both a shigenja and trained investigator to assist. I've also been asked by the individuals who run the tea house to participate, and one would hope that the alliance of Brain and Scorpion before this tournament would...
As soon as you said the tea house, I just raised my hand, and I go, continue.
Excellent. Will, is there a bowl of water in this tent by any chance?
Assuming
there
if
would
there
be.
isn't one, I will get a servant to go get one right now.
No. I need one that was already here.
I don't know.
It
Is
was
there?
a tent where someone was living. Will, is there a wash basin here?
Yeah, sorry. I pulled the Ben.
You did.
I did.
You were devastatingly handsome.
I
Yes.
was. Thank you. There's no extra XP in this system for that. There, it looks like
So
there
there is.
was a bowl that might have been set up for the evening, but it does look like its contents have been spilled out. There's maybe a like a thin edge of a
But the
fingernail left
water
of
is
water.
still present.
Yeah.
It's still damp. Okay.
Yes.
Then I would like to commune and
Oh.
summon a water spirit.
Okay. First,
Nice.
The water kami communicates primarily through visions and visuals.
yeah. First
And
roll
I
of the
would like
night.
to see who did it.
All right. You will notice that your spell list looks more extensive.
I love it. It looks so much easier to read now.
Yeah. You are welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Commune should be there, and it should have a button to just
Yes.
cast it.
Let's see. Summon, sense, commune. And I'm going to summon a water spirit. And much against my better judgment, I'm going to declare a raise
Ooh.
for accuracy. I could ask 2 questions if this succeeds. So with a raise, I can get the vision to be more accurate. So I'm going to try that.
Okay.
And here we go. Difficulty 10, that's 1 raise.
Difficulty 10 base. The raise would raise it to 15, but you got a 17, so that more than gives you a clearer vision.
So I can ask 2 questions.
You can.
And the first one is going to be, can you show me this woman's death?
There is a moment where the water kind of churns and it starts to bubble, and you see it swirl into existence the image of the girl kind of standing there over the basin, hair in one hand, a brush in the other, and it looks like she had just finished pulling herself out of her face out of the basin itself, and that's when the whole basin turns red with blood. And behind her, you do see the glint of steel, the knife kind of coming up, almost like a serpent. It just kind of creeps up over the shoulder, around, and swooping under the neck so it finds its purchase, and then just kind of slits across. But there's no face.
And when it was knocked over and the water was spilling,
Mhm.
it was the water able to pick out any of the features or clothing. Basically, I want to see if I can see anything distinctive about whoever might have done this so we can try to track them down in an investigation if need be.
The girl does fall onto the basin. It does spill the bloody water. Excuse me. And you do catch a glimpse of what looks to be this shadowy figure. The tent flap behind it is open. It looks like there's some light of what looks to be a passing something or other, something with a lantern. But all you see is a black silhouette. It's just a black clothing, and then it's just a small slit for eyes.
Kimono, cape, no cape, armor.
Nothing. Just black cloth.
Just a black shadow.
Yeah.
Anything noteworthy about the knife that was used?
It looks like it was a wakizashi.
Was there a clanmon on it?
Not one that's visible in the turbulent image that you're getting, but it does look like there's something nice about the guard.
So
It almost glints like gold.
So instead of entreating the kami, as most have seen a Shugenja do, he's sternly demanding things from it. And when he finishes, he turns. The woman was caught unaware. The throat was slit from behind. The assailant used a tonto, so I highly doubt it was a random cut purse thug or ETA. The quality of it was very high quality. The guard in particular seemed to be gilded in gold. I did not get a look at whomever did it. However, chances are a passing patrol might have, or a servant, because I did see a lantern going past when this event happened as the person escaped out the tent flap.
I turn around
Mhm.
and I look at whoever's the highest ranking person there of my clan. I tell them, huh? I tell them to find out who was on patrol last night and bring them here now.
Okay, yeah, one of the courtiers who is second to you rushes
Mhm.
off without even a word or a nod. Just yeah, I'm fucking flabbergasted.
Is the girl still here? The girl that found her?
Yeah,
Okay.
no, she's being
She's still
moved.
here next to Doji's wife?
No, she's being moved away currently.
Okay.
But she's still within like earshot. You can call out to her if you want to keep her around.
This was a message that they could get that close to my wife.
It is entirely possible certain disreputable people may be able to conjure up the idea of sending this kind of message. I couldn't imagine who would do that.
I just I tilt my head at the scorpion.
The
Like,
whole time.
really? You can't imagine anyone? Huh. Oh,
And he says it with
the scorpion
you
is
can't
actually
see
a
if he
master.
says it. You can't
scorp-
see if he says it with a straight face because he's obviously wearing a mask like every other scorpion, but you do detect a slight hint of illusion.
Master of sarcasm, I see.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
So
Oh man, Tamori is not with the sarcasm, so you're like, they're just gonna keep checking in with everybody else on the conversation to be like, oh, wait, like, I cannot figure out Sochi at all.
I'll go and talk to my wife
Mhm.
because she's probably shaken.
Is
She's
she?
not too much. If she is, Tamori definitely can't read it. Somebody like
Okay.
Doji could though.
Okay.
And you do see that she has put up like a strong facade, but the moment that you kind of start to wheel her away from the scene, you can feel the trembling in her hand when she reaches up to grab yours.
Yeah, I quietly grab her hand and don't make a scene of it and just move her out.
Hmm. Touching. We have things to do to solve this quickly. The longer we wait, the colder the body, the colder the body, the colder the trail.
You see this other giant who rivals the Tamori in size, but is wearing crab colors step up to you and just towering over you. And he looks like, imagine if there was an oriental version of Adam Driver with just
Every
this
time.
tousled black hair, this thin paper like it's like kind of pencil drawn beard and mustache, but these very soft brown eyes. And
Fantastic abs.
yeah, for sure.
Ripped abs. Yeah, for
Ripped
sure.
abs.
You could
Keep going.
you could
Tell me if
grate.
you've seen it.
And that particular smoldering look.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in.
You could grate cheese on his abs.
Wait, is this the new romantic interest for Sochi?
No, so she is happily engaged, but
Damn
you
it!
can always window shop even if you don't buy.
So when I take my wife out,
Yep.
I will have somebody. Where do I send her? That's safe.
Yeah.
So I think Tamori would try to ask Doji to make a game plan for his wife, because obviously Tamori cares deeply.
Okay, so
she looks after him, and
I have an idea. I asked my daughter. My daughter has her katana.
No. she's not allowed until she passes her Ganpuku ceremony.
That's true. Does she have a boken with her?
She does have a boken.
Okay, so then I pick one of the iron crane because it has to be a few there.
Yeah.
And I go, you do not leave her side. I look at my daughter and I say, and I tell her to go to the Shukenja tent. And that's where they're staying.
Okay.
Would you like me to send one of my associates as well? They're a Shigenja in training. It might behoove them to have some experience with some of the other clans. And I look
I'm
at
going to.
Simon.
I want to, because I do not know him. I will try to. What's the skill?
Oh, heraldry?
No.
Oh.
I believe he's trying to see if I'm setting him up. Or,
Yes.
Yes.
So I'm going to use my etiquette.
And I shall use my sincerity.
Yes.
I am very sincere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sincere, you sarcastic fuck.
I'll
Sincerely
even see if I
sarcastic.
can shoot for a raise.
Okay. So it'll be opposed rolls.
Holy shit!
I'm really sincere, by the way. I'm incredibly sincere.
I can
I'm
tell.
the most sincere person
You're
you've ever
so
met.
sincere that you know what? I thank you for the offer. And I mentioned what are the Shukenja that your Shukenja in training can introduce themselves to.
Simon, is it say it's Saimon, right?
Oh, he's there with us?
Yeah, my little guy in training that I've been
yeah,
told
The
to
little
watch over.
baby.
Then I tell Simon, you want to speak to, and I mentioned one of the Shukenja.
Yeah, no, it's
Go with them.
Hinmaru, Soshi Hinmaru.
Okay.
Yeah.
Soshi-san,
He bows
accompany
low.
my daughter, and you want to speak to, and I mentioned one of the Shukenja.
Yeah.
They're there to introduce yourself.
And do observe every possible courtesy.
He nods. And then he kind of leans over, sees that the crab hasn't moved from like your side, and then kind of very gently tries to squeeze between you and the crab, finds no ground whatsoever, and then kind
Pardon
of
me.
Look at my friend.
Thank you. Yes.
Should I still go get the paper?
The paper.
Yes. I forgot an errand I was sending him on. I require quills and ink, quills, and paper. He has forgotten his scrolls and requires them.
I shall return then.
He is also a Shigenja.
And he just
like myself.
rushes off, just scared, more of a girl than anything else.
I go up to my daughter, and I get really close to her so I can whisper to her with nobody else hearing it, and I remind her of an old story I used to tell her about scorpions.
She nods.
Like, remember the story of the scorpion and the toad?
She nods.
Is there a chance I overheard that because I have something snarky to say if I did?
No, I did it like as
Of course you do.
I'm like that close to her ear when I say it, and I make it look like an embrace to my daughter.
All right, let's see.
Affection is just a disguise. I am a scorpion. That is how we think.
Fair enough.
Yeah, make a flat perception roll.
Okay, because I rolled investigation in the chat.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay. Flat perception is what? The water.
Just water ring.
Yep, just as good.
Yeah. You heard, like you did see them embrace. But you also did see his.
Did I catch a snippet of the most well-known story about the Scorpion clan in the history of Rokugan?
No, but you do see the mouth move. So you can imagine that something was said. You just don't know what it was.
I smile and nod after they finish talking.
Okay. A girl is on you like white on rice. Like he's given you maybe like
Oh, I love him.
2 feet of distance ever since your apprentice is kind of like needed to talk to you, but wherever you move, like he moves, and he just has like this not glare, but he's definitely got his eyes squinted, like he's looking for anything out of the ordinary around you.
Please back away. I am absolutely done tonight with dealing with Bushi and their bravado. I have had quite enough for one evening. Please move away.
Takes
A
like
look
a
like,
half step
don't move
back.
away. Yeah.
Thank you.
You can see him like he stretches out his arm. He's like, I'm further away now.
By the way, my back is turned to all of them, so I hide the smile on my face as I'm waiting for the patrol,
Mhm.
for the guard, them to bring the patrol over.
Yep. And it does take like a few minutes, but somebody, the courtier comes back with what looks to be one of the iron warriors. He's out
I'm
of
like,
armor.
wait a minute. Has anybody turned over the body yet?
No, the other's
Turn it
still
over. It
waiting.
was inspected.
Yeah, the body was looked over.
Yeah, but has it been turned over?
Like to check for the back.
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah, it was lying on face down, so yeah, you could have seen the back at any time.
Have they found any symbolism anywhere?
Oh wait.
No.
I am now searching the outside of the tent.
Hmm.
I am searching all the poles that could have been carved anything into. I am looking everywhere, and you know exactly what I'm looking for.
Yeah, there's none of that.
You need to communicate with us so we can
Oh,
also do the
I'm
same.
not telling you guys. I'm like, you guys suddenly just start seeing me look for something.
Yeah.
What are you looking for?
Do you not remember the calling card that's been left at every other murder? The symbol of one of the fates.
Oh, got it.
The last one was money.
Got it.
I'm looking for one of those.
Okay.
Yeah. You look around the tent, the grounds.
I look on Doji's wife's tent while he's looking at the girl.
Yeah, even and the Edda will gladly like just remove the girl's.
Turn over the body.
Yeah.
Look around where the cut was. Anything like that.
Yeah, no, they remove her clothing. They show you her body. There's nothing on her.
Okay, this is weird. This one is not like the others. Something is different about this one. I forgot what they're called. The rat men.
Nezumi.
The body. Did we find a symbol around that one?
No.
Okay, this is weird. Somebody's breaking their MO.
Just very similar. Like once you see that she is turned over so that you can see the actual wound, it is just a clean cut. And then Nezumi was the same way. Just from one side of the jaw to the other.
I mentioned, well, I don't know if the Scorpion knows about the Izumi.
Yeah. You would scare the shit out of him, I think.
Exactly. So I'm just going to keep that to myself. And I'll be like, this is different than the other murders. There's no symbol. And this one seems to be done a little bit more precise. The other ones were done a little bit more with more brutality.
How many people know this particular girl is dead by now, do you think?
This is a crane encampment.
That's why I'm hoping that the crane are able to contain spread of this information. Chances are that a clan so well acquainted with courtly politics and intrigue would know to maybe not let a story spread.
And you're wrong.
Masters of gossip.
I know. So my plan is now null and void.
Yeah,
I don't know. I could try to control it.
it is.
I could be like, nobody talks about this outside this tent.
We already let the girl go that caught the body.
Oh, then never mind. Everybody
The
knows.
girl can be brought back and pursued.
She's already talked about 5 people.
Then my
At
plan
least.
is null and void.
How she's been gone for 5 minutes? That's about 5 other crane, which means about 50 other crane know about it by now, and the lion know about it as well.
And so do the scorpion.
And the scorpion knew about it before the crane knew about it.
Are you implying that the
No,
scorpion
because
was
you
involved?
guys seem to know everything before everybody else does. It's admirable.
Take that
I
as
mean,
the
I
highest
can
compliment.
imply it. I don't care.
Oh no, I don't think there was a scorpion. There's no reason.
No.
Honestly, my family has only had good relations with the scorpion. I've never had an altercation with the scorpion. Okay, hold on. There was that one duel, but that was honestly a misunderstanding. But it wasn't. It wouldn't cause this.
Yes, I'm sure your duel did not result in a clan-on-clan grudge, otherwise word
No.
would have gotten out. So, we have to continue with this investigation, and as I said, we must move quickly.
So
Now, there's no symbols found hereabouts. However, one thing we might be able to do, given the fact that the word has already gotten out about it. How renowned are your healers in the Crane clan?
well, that's water, and that's not our particular strong suit. Ours is air.
Ah, so is ours. With that in mind, I turn to the Edda.
Mhm.
Uh, hide the body, but make it look like something else. Bundle it in rags or otherwise. And then I begin to cast.
You would not want me to cut the stomach open like the giant said?
Belay that order.
Look at my. I hold on. What do you mean cut the stomach open? What did I miss?
Yeah, and he points the knife that he's had in his hand. He kind of points it at Tamori, and he's like, "Yeah, that one said to check for pregnancy."
The last one was pregnant.
My eyebrow goes up, and I'm like, interesting, but Crane don't keep. Crane are horrible at keeping secrets of who they're seeing, and her friend would have known something.
So I will walk out of the front of the tent, and as I do so, I am going to cast Mists of Illusion,
Oh,
and I'm going to have the girl who was murdered at the entryway to the tent, where I'm going to continue to check her over to make sure the wound has healed. And that way, anyone seeing her will think that she survived due to the miraculous intervention of a healing Shigenja before the woman died. Whether the person who committed the murder or not thinks this is a lie or not a lie, it may give them pause to come back or further investigate if they think that for whatever reason she survived.
okay,
And I have free raises on illusions because I am a scumbag illusionist scorpion.
correct.
Makes sense.
So, what do you want to use your raise for?
I'm going to. So it adds. I only need a minute of this because I can just basically make it look like she's going back into the tent when I'm done. And the raises are for radius, distance, and duration. Would you be willing to let me have one for detail?
I think it would require at least 2 for detail.
Okay. Well, I get my free one, so
Yeah.
I'll give that a shot.
Okay.
And that's one
Ooh.
raise, and then my free one.
Yeah. So you just got it. 15 is a TN to
It'll
cast.
even show like a faint, recently healed scar around the neck where the wound was. So it looks pink and freshly healed.
Hmm.
And then after she's been properly examined by me, I will end the illusion of her kind of going back into the tent.
Okay.
Now recover. You've been through quite an ordeal.
And she nods and very carefully tries to get back into the tent. You see some of the people that are in the area just kind of gasp. And immediately rumors start passing around about the healing powers of this scorpion Shugenja.
So I don't feel comfortable with such dishonesty.
How is it dishonesty?
But I'm not saying this to you outside. I'm thinking. Sorry. It was me thinking out loud because I am very, very strict with the spirit of Bushido. I just feel like this might dishonor her death, but I see why you're doing it. When you come back in, I do have a face of like,
If you're having an internal debate with yourself as to the morality of the situation, that's a look I have seen hundreds of times. The reality of the matter is that the murder must be solved, the murderer must be caught. I did not do anything that would break the tenets of Bushido, uh, even in spirit. One might surmise dishonesty as being something that I might have done. However, I did not say that the woman was alive. I did not uh, say to anyone I brought her back. I created an image, and I will let people determine from that image what they may. Hopefully, that will determine a killer being more interested in the crime. They might come back. That is a lot more effective, in my opinion, and please do not take offense that anything that anybody else has done this evening to further this investigation. In fact, I dare say that I have been the most useful in uncovering this investigation.
Tamori
Except
has
for
a
the
huge sigh.
except for the mountain there, they've done a fantastic job of protecting the tent from people looking inside. Anyone that could see around that would be truly uh, sagacious and perceptive.
Tamori keeps their mouths shut, but they fucking hate you. Like
I
the
assure
inside
you,
is
the
like,
feeling
yeah,
is the feeling is more than mutual.
nice, perfect.
Look, I looked down at the Edda.
Mm.
Now we have to. Now we have to. Oh, she still needs a proper burial, but now I have to hide the proper burial.
No, you
Yes.
can wait to do the proper burial. We have time.
How much time do we have before the fates start getting pissed off? Like traditionally.
Ooh, it depends how faithful this person was, their family.
Would theology tell us?
No, because that's just a measure of like a standard peasant. And standard peasants would probably have like
Did I know her?
a
I
day.
probably knew her.
Yeah, you've seen her serving your wife. Like she's one of the handmaidens.
Yeah, she's been around me for a while.
Yeah, at least a year.
So what do I know about her family?
She is an only child. She was given up to your family, and at an early age, and she's been kind of working her way from family to family. She's usually with a family for a couple of years before moving on, and this was supposed to be like the permanent place for her. Like,
Did I ever see her praying and stuff like that, or never?
once or twice. Um, usually around the same time, towards the end of the month.
So she's moderately religious. So we probably have at least a few days.
At most 3.
Theoretically, as her lord and master, you are actually the one that dictates how long she has before she's buried.
Yes, but the fates are are
Finicky.
very finicky
Mhm.
and
some,
very jealous.
For some, yes.
I'd rather not risk any of them, especially now. So we have 3 days.
He absolutely realizes he's been rubbing at the place where his arm used to be when they start talking about fickle fates. But that's the only indicator that he's registered anything but that same blank mask expression.
Yeah.
So 3 days. 3 days we bury her no matter what. But we get high at her death for 3 days.
That is up to you. However, I feel that 3 days
No,
would be enough time to
I've made up my mind.
then 3 days.
The
That should be enough time for us to, if not complete this investigation, then at least make significant headway in it.
yeah, the
Will,
Edda
when
Fair.
does
the
when
Edda
does
looks
the
up.
trial start?
What trial?
The
The ceremony?
yeah. Sorry.
The Gampuku ceremony should begin a few days after the last clan gets here. You're still waiting
Okay,
on the
so-
Dragon and Phoenix clan to arrive.
Okay, so we have time. We don't have to like rush this to do.
Yeah. No.
we have some time right now.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It's not like
so-
season 1.
I look down at
Okay.
the Edda.
Yeah. The Edda kind of
I
like is
assume
poking the stomach. It's just like, am I cutting it? Am I wrapping them? What am I doing here?
I mumble forgiveness to the fates. And I look at him and I go, check if she was pregnant.
Yeah, here we go.
You?
And he just with glee.
And I stare at him when he starts doing it with glee. I'm like, and my hand goes to the katana.
Oh, he bows low.
Gently.
Right. I'm just. This is my purpose in life, sir. This is what I gotta do to earn my place.
Don't take such joy in it.
They say if you like what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. And he
What is
immediately
this, Italian
stabs.
immigrant?
Bro, I am. Oh my god!
And like,
forgive the Edda's impertinence.
Okay, so everybody in the room who knows me, and the Scorpion probably as well, sees my hand go from this to this over the
Can't see
handle.
your hand, Papa.
Well, it goes from that
yeah,
to serpent. Like I'm about to.
Yeah.
And it is all my self-control not to cut him down where he is.
yeah. But he is, even though the initial stab was just this very puncturing kind of rupture of the girl's stomach, like he is very gentle and he is very skilled at his job, and he does kind of like reach in. He feels around and he pulls his hand out and then puts his head down to the floor. Samurai Sama, there's nothing in there. There's no child.
Okay, sew her up. So when we have a proper burial, she's not opened.
Yeah. Now I'll cut off the head too, just to be safe. And he starts to
No,
sew.
you won't.
He stops and he kind of he looks in your direction, but he keeps his head down and he's just like, "But sir, we have to make sure that she doesn't come back as a zombie. The head has to be taken off."
Yes, you won't.
It is important for anyone in the Celestial Order to focus on their tasks and excel at their tasks, but you must temper your enthusiasm.
I step over, so I'm in line with her head. I ask her to forgive me, but then I say, "But you deserve better." And I
Can we wait until the third day, please?
wouldn't she raise before then if she can?
The idea being that it's easier to hide her as one part than multiple parts, unless you plan on dismembering each part of her body to make her easier to be portable. At that point, I suppose we could throw her in a trunk until the
Disgusting.
third day.
That's disgusting. No. Okay, tradition-wise, do we normally cut off the head right after, or do we wait?
Yeah, you cut off the head so that to ensure that
Exactly.
they
So
don't come
I'm
back
doing
up.
this. I don't care what the scorpion tells me.
Unless you're gonna burn her, in which case then it doesn't
No, we
matter.
don't have time. We have to keep the body for 3
It was
days.
a suggestion, not a command.
So I will step over and I align myself with her neck.
Hmm.
I ask, I'm sorry. You deserve better. And
Yeah. There's a very swift motion. It is barely visible except for the torchlight actually does kind of give everybody that's not used to the Iaijutsu mastery of a crane to see this crescent shape. And then it's just very quickly as it's shot out, the sword is back over at the hip, and it's just you would have your other hand with the papers to clean the blade, I assume.
yeah, and then back in.
Slide it in.
Yep.
But yeah, you see the head very gingerly, very gently, just kind of suddenly fall under its own weight, and it does roll away from the body slightly.
I look at the Edda. I say, wrap up the body. Use that carpet because it's all stained at this point. How the hell are we going to get the body out of the tent? Because somebody's going to come in here. And if nobody's allowed to come in, nobody's allowed to come in. She's recovering. I'm going to find of all the Bushi in this encampment, who do I trust the most other than my daughter?
From the crane?
Yep.
Oof.
Oh, I thought it would be the crab.
Yeah.
No. Of my people, who do I trust the most?
There is. Do you want a student or do you want somebody that is already past their Genpuku?
Somebody who who has their katana.
Okay. Then that would be the other Kakita that came with you. Kakita Yogan.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, for sure. Him. I could trust him. I trusted him with my life already. So,
not Ishin. Ishin, you left with your youngest daughter. Remember?
That's true. Ishin went with my youngest daughter.
Yeah, this is another Kakita who did go to school with you, who has done things and was assigned to your entourage. His name is Yogan.
Let me write that down. Okay, I will go find. I tell everybody to stay here. I will go find Yogan, and I will ask him that that I tell him how important this is. He needs to be inside the tent. If anybody comes, he has to stop them from coming in, because if he stands outside, it's kind of obvious.
Mm-hmm.
Stop them from coming in, that she's resting, and that I said she is not to be disturbed. And I tell him...
Which is true. Her body is at rest.
That's true. I'm not lying. And that...
You're learning.
He doesn't know me that well. And that...
I know that you're bending the truth like one of my boys.
And that... I'm not bending the truth. I am telling the exact truth, sir. And I tell him that there's a chance that the assassin might come back to finish the job. In that case, he will be facing that assassin.
And make sure he knows to watch the back of the tent. Yeah.
I tell him to watch the entire tent because the guy came in and I tell him how sneaky he was, and that's what you're facing.
He nods.
This killer has no honor. Do not expect any from him.
And they wore the wakizashi of a samurai.
Yes. And I described the wakizashi, that it was gold, that the cross guard was gold. So if he sees somebody come in, hey, I'm looking at that, and it's gold, he knows something might be up.
He bows
Yeah,
low.
it should add that when I summoned the kami, the image is visible to anyone that was looking at it. It isn't.
Oh, then I describe
Yeah,
what I
it
saw.
isn't a mental. Yeah, I should have.
Okay.
I should have
Perfect. It was
specified
a
that
mental thing.
everybody would have saw it. You would have
Nice.
saw
Oh,
it. Maury would have saw it. Everybody would have seen
okay, cool. Then I will describe the image that I saw to him.
Okay. He bows low,
Um,
and he's just like, Doji, you honor me with this task, and I will do everything in my power to live up to your
you have been at
expectation.
my side. You have been at my side in one way or another since we were classmates. And of all the people here, the one I could trust the most is you.
Again, he bows low to you. Thank you.
And I walk back with him.
Yep.
Does this Kakita's wakizashi look like it's particularly ornate and made of gold?
That would be funny.
You could spit into the wind and hit 3 different crane who have gold gilded.
Then we need to start calling them now to make sure that we get the suspect. Kidding. That was out of game.
But
When I saw it, was there a particular design that comes to mind?
no, because of the turbulent nature of the bowl
Okay.
being turned
got
over,
it.
there wasn't a clear
Yeah.
picture. Just you know that there's a glint of gold.
Got it. Okay.
This Kakita does not have a golden super guard. He does have a silver one.
Okay.
But yeah, he comes from money. Everybody here comes from money, technically.
Yeah, we're Crane. Hello.
Yeah, and the emperor has a hard on for Crane. Hante the 20th was not shy about replacing most of the imperial families with Crane dignitaries. So
No one better.
yeah, I mean, a lot of people
Right.
have disdain for Crane in this time period. Just so you're aware.
So just it would probably be something that a lot of people would, when they saw my katanas, the guard
Hmm.
is just steel.
Okay.
They're utilitarian. They're tools.
I have a wakizashi that is currently wrapped in 6 different peace bonds and almost seems like it's forgotten about.
What that thing you have dust on? Wait a minute, hold on.
Yeah. It's cleaned, but it doesn't regard it in any way, shape, or form.
So
by the time that you come back with this Kakita, you see that there is this big hoopla. There's 2 of the city magistrates, which means that it's probably the 2 that are on duty. But you also notice that there's a Sepun guard. He's got his flag on his fucking back. And you see that the Mia is there.
Oh.
And as he sees you coming back, he immediately kind of motions for you to come over, and everybody that's around you, the Kakita included, like he just kind of drops down to one knee.
Yeah, I bow first deeply, and then I walk over.
Okay.
Now,
The Mia kind of looks around before asking you, what has happened here, Doji-san?
I look around to everybody, and I go, a word alone?
Of course. And he motions, and only the Sepun follows with you.
I tell him the truth, and I tell him the trap that the scorpion laid, and what we're doing to try to catch the killer. And I try to keep it really long, like there's only 5 people that know this is happening.
Puts his hand to his mouth, and he's just like, is this in the same vein as the girl that was killed in the tea house?
No, interestingly, there was no symbol to one of the fates this time, which makes it stand out.
He leans in closer, like almost uncomfortably close for someone of his station.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks at you dead in the face, and he's just like, does this have anything to do with Shiromori Sato?
I don't know.
I thought we were rid of the shape changers.
As was I. The fact that the murder at the tea house had a kami's, was it a kami or a fate?
It was one of the fates.
What had a symbol? One of the fates, a different one, but still had one. Makes me think they're connected. Maybe not the same direct group, but tied together, if it makes sense.
His excuse me, his hand comes up and grabs you by the bicep, and you hear the Sepoon clear his throat, and immediately his hand kind of slips away. But he's like, is this my fault, Toji-san? Did I do this to my people?
I look at him straight in the eyes and I go, this is not your fault. The actions of the dishonorable and the actions of these monsters is not your fault. You might be a target because what you represent, but it is not your fault. And as I did before, I will do everything in my power to protect everyone here, you and your wife.
He nods. Thank you.
And I bow deeply.
He bows, and the Sepoon kind of nods in your direction. But
I look at Sepoon, and I walk up to him, and do you know the stories of what we faced?
He nods. I've heard.
That's all you need to know. Protect him.
I understand.
And I nod to him.
He whistles, and the two other magistrates, the city magistrates, come running over as you make your way back towards the encampment, and they make their way back towards the courthouse. But there is already people kind of talking and whispering as you're walking back towards the tent. You can hear them talking about how the very lord of the city has kind of come to check in on the crane to make sure they're okay, and everybody just kind of the traditional, very gossipy, like, oh, of course,
Yeah, of course.
Imperial families take care of the crane.
And anybody who saw him grab me by the bicep.
Yep.
Tamori,
You know what?
if you
You know
don't
what?
mind my asking,
If
how long have you been in service to the crane?
Are you service to the crane? Me?
Employed, sir. You seem to defer to the crane that are here. I didn't know if it was I just was curious as to your affiliation. You definitely seem to regard the woman that you were with some measure of affection or loyalty.
Tamori kind of adjust themselves because they forgot that they weren't alone in the room.
Yeah. And
In the tent.
Aguro just kind of like clears his throat and then immediately walks out.
Yeah. Good option.
before punching starts or something, let's leave.
I'm in affiliation with no one. I came here on my own accord. Actually, I was called upon to be here just because I'm friendly with certain members of the Crane and Crab clans doesn't mean that I owe them anything.
I did not mean to imply that you did. I'm trying to learn the social landscape, and you being as close to this family as you seem to be, protecting them, being in a position to defend them. I just wanted to know if you knew them well enough to perhaps know if I should be wary around any of them.
Should be wary around any of the Crane.
Any of the ones that are in the close circle. The woman that was killed served the person that you were affiliated with, yes?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I
And
believe so.
in your time, it's possible you may have observed something that now that time is giving you perspective to look back might have been noteworthy. Something you might not have thought to look at before might now be in your mind. I don't know. I'm just trying to ask anyone who knew everyone what their impressions were.
Tamori lowers himself onto so she's like level and says, if you're looking for a social or societal landscape, I'm gonna be the enigma. Ask someone
Well,
else.
I figured from your vantage
Stop
above the
figuring. Tamori is like
I have
Tamori is
no choice.
mm, there's a lot of assumptions that you've made already. We've gotten off on the wrong foot. My apologies if I've said anything or done anything. Actually, not my apologies. I know how I look. Um,
And I apologize if I've offended you in any way. It was not my intent. I do feel that we did get off on the wrong foot. I feel like we had a moment when I first approached where neither one of us knew what to make of the other. But now that we're going to be working together, I want to make sure that we can proceed, if not as friends, then at least with a mutually agreed respect.
could do that.
He bows.
So does Tamori. But still a little hesitant.
Well, yes, I'm still don't trust anyone because I don't. And
Good.
you're mildly terrifying, and I don't want to have to unleash the full force of my Shigenja powers just to make you stop hitting me.
But you see the tent flap open and you see the doji come back in.
Doji, am I in service to you? I say that really loudly too.
Dear God, no. You're hard-headed, independent, and run headlong into things I warn you not to run into. You're my
Look
friend.
over at the scorpion and I'm like,
By the way, the
No.
scorpion did hear that last part. You're my friend.
Yep,
does that answer your question?
it does indeed. Thank
Cool.
you.
Yeah. Dieta has wrapped up the body in a couple of carpets and a long tarp.
So we have to
turned-
do
I-
something so the body doesn't smell in 3 days. So now that the body is wrapped up, we are going to. I'm going to have the edit dig in here to put the body underground for now.
What? Hold on, Doji. And before you do this, like I know you're probably explaining this to them. Scorpion, do you need this body to be above
I
ground?
have a name. I'm Soshi Tetsuro. I am not Scorpion.
Scorpion Soshi.
So Shin-san.
Do you need this
Soshi-san.
body? Do you need this body above ground?
I was going to recommend instead of burying it, so we have to unbury and rebury it in proper consecrated fashion, that we.
Oh, I was going to have the body burned.
Well, I was going to suggest we get a crate of orange blossom tea.
That
I was gonna
works.
go to the tea thing and grab it. Bitch!
That works. That works.
God damn it!
And I will still acknowledge that it was Tamori's idea.
Son of a bitch.
But no, that was a great idea. That's a fantastic idea.
I applaud your insight and sagaciousness.
Don't applaud me.
I have to. We had the idea at the exact same time.
So I will tell both
I
of you
didn't-
what happened with the governor. Or not the governor, with the
Mia.
oh my god, what's his position again? Is the
daimyo of the city.
the daimyo. I tell you what happened and I told him.
I know.
When you say I know, I look at you with an eyebrow up. I can't do that with my eyebrows in real life. You do?
Yes.
You were not there.
Correct. Shall we continue with our investigation? We have limited amount of time.
Fine. You see, I go out and I motion the other crane to come in.
Yep.
And I'm like, whatever you need, I'll have people bring you food.
I
But
don't
you
let
do-
them enter the tent.
Of course.
No, he knows.
She's resting.
Yeah, but no, I tell you, he knows.
Oh, okay.
He's
I
not
didn't
allowing
know you were
anybody.
talking about the
Yeah.
Kakita that was in
He's
there.
the one not allowing anybody in. Yeah. So,
And Edna, if anyone asks, I assume you will tell them about how the woman is in a much different situation than first thought. And
Yeah.
um,
She's in a
I,
tarp.
in
look at
fact,
the Edda.
you should just say nothing.
I look at the
And
Edda, and I go, "You have no honor. You could lie. You will say that she is alive and well. And if you say anything else, you saw how quickly I cut that head. I will cut you from head to balls."
Another day in the
Fascinating.
Empire.
Love this, Edda. I'm gonna marry him. Actually, can we get married tomorrow?
If you say that loud, I'm like looking at you like,
No, once the Edda leaves, I look at you, Doji, and I say, I love that guy.
I will direct the Edda on which creative tea.
when you say that, I hope you're
Uh,
I hope you're joking.
Will,
Hmm.
when the Edda and I leave the tent,
Yep.
I pass the Edda a coin.
Oh.
The crane asking you to lie in his behalf is something that I would never tell you to do. What I would tell you to do, however, is be cryptic, be enigmatic, and more importantly, make note of who's asking. People that are asking you a lot of questions, people that seem very interested in the story. I would like to know about it.
And it
And
got me
I
so
would like
angry, I almost cut him down in his spell. Oh.
and I would like to invoke my merit, hero of the people, because Edda and peasants like
Yep.
me.
Yep. He puts the coin away. He kind of gives you the nod with like the sly kind of wink. He's not looking at you directly. He's kind of looking in your direction. And he's like, "Hey, look, I don't know what cryptic means or enigmatic, but I'll do my best for you."
Thank you.
This is the first time in all the time I've been playing L5R that I almost killed an Edda.
Almost married one.
He disgusted me. Oh my god. I came so close.
He's a
Oh,
character.
dear god. Ooh. Okay.
Yeah, but you
So-
see another Edda woman come over with a wheelbarrow. He puts the tarp body in the wheelbarrow and then puts the crate of orange blossom tea on top of that to make it look like it's kind of different things that they're taking. And he just kind of like grabs the wheelbarrow from his wife, and they both kind of bow low to you, Soshi. And the guy's like, "I understand what has to be done. Cryptic as all hell." And he starts to rush off.
Excellent.
Love him.
This is all excellent. All right. Well, I will take a moment and kind of look around the camp and take a deep breath, breathing in the night air.
Yep.
And when I blow it out, it's going to be a hidden casting of. I'm a Shugenja. I'm almost out of magic, but I get it all when I sleep for the night.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
The hell is the name of it? Whispering Wind. Not Whispering Wind. Logan in Memory, Tempest Fair, Legacy of Kazo no Kami,
Hmm.
where I will basically give a report to the Scorpion back at my camp of
Oh,
everything that's happened. But
okay.
anyone watching wouldn't even see my lips move.
Okay. So yeah, so you get a free raise towards doing that. So go ahead and roll your cast. Ooh, yeah.
I'm good at Shukenja-ing.
Yeah. You sure are. As long as it's not Earth, which is fantastic.
Yep, I am not an Earth. Yep.
Also, no Jade Strike or anything incredibly useful for later.
Nothing
Got it.
incredibly useful against tainted creatures, no.
Got it.
I can heal and I can manipulate.
That's
what
fine.
I
That's
can
fine.
do.
Cutting things down, that's our job. We got that.
And I have my magic missile if I need it, and I have my knock my bushi on their ass if I need it. Not that I think I'll ever need it, because thus far I have not encountered any large, intimidating bushi that would like to step.
None.
So
None at all.
I step out of the tent.
Yep.
And have the guards come over yet?
Yeah, there's some iron
The
crane.
patrol? No,
Yeah.
the patrol that did it last night.
Yeah, he's been patiently waiting to see what happens.
I
But
go, Soshi-san,
Yes.
the patrol's outside.
Excellent.
So I walk up
yeah,
to
you see that he's unarmored. It looks like he was about to get bed down for the night. But he kind of he's standing there with a courtier, and he nods as all of you kind of show up.
I'll wait for everybody else to get there before I start asking questions.
Yeah, and Tamori can just kind of come out of the tent. Soshi's not
Barely
that far
fit
off.
anyways.
Yeah. Soshi's not that far off. You see him kind of just finish taking in some long, deep breaths, and then he makes his way over. But you see that you're brought before what looks to be this seasoned warrior. He's got a couple scars on his upper body. He's got no beard, just these kind of soft brown eyes with crow's feet, this long black hair that looks to be in the beginning assaults of becoming gray. He's got his wakizashi on his belt, but he doesn't have his katana. And you see that he's just kind of simple clothing, hakama pants, typical shirt, and overshirt over that.
Do I know him personally or not?
Not personally, no. He's just one of the iron crane that was sent with you.
And what family is he?
He's Daidoji.
Daidoji-san. Last night when you were on patrol, you walked down this road. Did you see anyone coming out of this tent?
No, not coming out, sir. No.
What about going in?
I saw some of the girls going in. I believe that they are friends. I don't remember them sleeping in the same tent, but I do. I did see the two of them kind of go in, like they were getting ready for the evening.
And you didn't see anybody else out here?
No, sir.
I look over at Soshi. Soshi-san?
The woman who was injured earlier, her assailant fled as you were on watch. You understand how this could be perceived as negative, correct?
Of course. And if you ask it of me, I will offer my life in recompense, sir.
Of course not. It is not my place. You are not one of my clan. The Matter is very, very important. Can you think of anything that caught your eye? And I give the approximate time of death. They were there.
Uh, there
Answer
was,
this question as if your life depends on it.
of course, there was a dignitary that come over with offerings from your encampment, sir.
Can you describe this dignitary from my encampment?
Of
And I
course,
give the description of the guy from the tea house just in case.
no, no.
Okay.
This was a woman, um, dark reds, almost purples, uh, hair tied back. Um,
What did her mask look like?
uh, I did not pay attention to that, sir. I just know that she had brought over some red bean paste buns, and those happen to be my favorite.
Guardsman that didn't look at a scorpion's mask.
And I have a look of interest at this.
So that was prior to the death. Did the person who approached, do you know if they were they wearing wakizashi and katana? Perhaps you might have noticed that since you didn't notice any of the other important details.
I did notice that she had both her weapons, yes.
Question: the two girls entering the tent, did they enter the tent before you saw the scorpion or
Yes,
after you saw the scorpion?
before.
Um, um, Soshi-san, a moment,
Yes.
and I step away. And I tell Soshi-san that we faced shape changers that were able to take the form of another, and they used it to get close to their intended targets. So it could be the
Is
scorpion,
a
but it
Doji,
could have
why did
been
you tell him that soup?
it
it,
could have been a shape changer
it
who
is a
was
spell that I am familiar with, though I cannot cast it myself.
so it's interesting that she went in there with the girl because it could have been the assailant shape changed.
Yes, a scorpion being the perpetrator of a murder is a novel concept here in Rokugan when
No,
all
I'm
other
thinking
suspects do not
because
present
remember,
themselves.
he saw her and her friend go into the tent. I'm saying the person who was her friend could have been shape changed.
I believe that if this scorpion was real, I need to find out who it was so that they may be
Agreed.
properly questioned.
Agreed. And if they came into the encampment, there has to be other guards that saw them on the perimeter who probably, and this time I say it just loud enough, noticed their mask.
Yes, one might hope that there is an observant guard around who might have noticed the mask. I believe that he's one of yours, uh, Goji-san. Uh, I don't know how your clan deals with incompetence, but I'm very, very aware of what my clan does with it. Let's ask around.
1 second. I look at the guard and I go, who was on duty in the perimeter last night?
I believe it was the Asahina, one of the Asahinas, and a doji, sir.
So, short of asking him to kill himself, What would be a proper punishment for this?
A spanking.
Not a ward.
I had to say it.
What would be a
Perhaps
proper
with a
punishment for
Tetsuo.
this? For the
Ooh.
crane, particularly.
Yeah.
Because we don't throw away talent as quickly as other clans.
Yep.
Neither do we. We just
Um,
make sure that if you don't have any talent, you're not a problem.
Well, his scars prove that he is talented, just not in certain
Not that way.
particular
Yeah.
instances.
you could reassign him to someplace shitty, one of the border skirmish towns.
What's the shittiest job that I could give him here in the encampment?
Oof. Helping the town magistrate, I believe.
That's what I'm going to assign him to do. It's a clear demotion.
Yeah. And there's a moment where you see his mouth open like he wants to say something,
I raise my eyebrow.
and it's like there's just this long, like 10 seconds of just silence where it's just, that he is silently asking you to rethink what you're doing. His face is betraying him entirely, and then he just kind of closes his mouth, bows low, is like, as your wish, Toji-san.
So I will go and try to find the perimeter guards.
While I do that, I'm going to do something impulsive.
Here we
Ready?
Oh dear God!
I'm
excited for this.
Could I roll for stealth, go over to the Scorpion encampment, and just sneak around and find a woman with a fucking golden handled wakizashi?
You find 50.
50 or 60. You're like, ah!
Yeah.
We know she's eating red beans and shit. And that's it. But I want to look for shit. I want to look for clues.
Well,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, go ahead and roll your stealth. Let's see if you can.
Okay. Roll anything?
Oh, this is going to be fun.
Now,
Hey, go fuck yourself. How about that?
Sneaking around. How very un-samurai of you.
Yeah, I know. What?
So I got a 24, and then do I have to
I'm
roll
on
for
board with it.
investigation if I want to find shit?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that too.
I watch them leave, and I'm just like,
Bye. Oh, bitch. Okay, I'm on the prowl because these motherfuckers keep talking to people. I'm bored as fuck. I gotta go.
I approve.
Bye, Doji.
The punching hasn't started yet.
24 and 26. Those are the highest numbers I've seen.
From you ever.
Hey, if you want to start talking shit too.
I've said nothing. I wholeheartedly embrace what you're doing. For once, I'm on the good side.
Yeah. Yeah, you kind of go looking for the patrols. So she's in your wake, and as you are brought over to where they currently are, you turn around to ask Soshi something, expecting to see Tamori just kind of being there as they have been, and they're gone. And immediately your stomach sinks because you know what they get up to when they're unsupervised.
I start getting all the apologies ready in my head.
Smile goes almost like chin to cheek behind his mask because this is going to be fun.
The look that you see from the doji is the look of a concerned father.
Come on, Daddy.
It's like that look of, oh my God.
There is no reaction, but
I'm sure.
Tetsuro loves fucking with his own clan, so this is fun for him.
I'm sure that Tamori-san had a brilliant idea that could not be shared with the rest of us, and they're going to be very productive in this investigation. Let's go
We were
down our
talking.
path.
We were talking. They were bored. There's no better reason than that.
Oh no, sometimes
Better
they
to do
have
something
brilliant. Okay, so
It's better to do something
they
than
are
nothing.
impulsive. They are impulsive, but sometimes
Really,
they
I
have
hadn't
these.
picked up on that.
Sometimes that Tamori has these brilliant ideas that come out of the void.
Yeah, one
That-
of them is to get a pet raccoon.
Yes. So let's go and talk
What
to
are
the
the-
border guys and find
What
out.
are the odds that she's heading towards my cleansing camp?
Most assuredly.
I start sauntering slowly towards the Scorpion clan encampment because I want them to have as much a head start as they can have before I show up. Because
Do we need to talk to the guards to board? I'll
Yeah,
I'll
you can
handle that,
talk
I
to the
guess.
guards, Soji. You
I
can talk to
trust you.
Yeah, you're good.
Oh, fates.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Don't worry, I'll know.
When I'm walking to go talk to the guards, I'm saying a prayer to the fate of luck.
Mhm.
And to just watch over her and not let her stumble into a horrible situation I can't talk her out of.
Okay, we'll see what happens. But Tamori just kind of looks around, gets that feeling in their stomach the second that this whole talking situation turns to more talking, and immediately is just like, no.
I look at him and I go, and I mouth it. Go to the scorpion.
To who? Who'd you say that to?
To my boy.
Oh,
Yo,
a
boy.
girl?
Yeah.
A girl hasn't even been there. A girl.
Oh,
l-
that girl was in with us.
no, the
Girl?
girl
was here.
left the second that he thought the Soshi was picking a fight.
Fair enough. Okay.
He was like, no,
I thought he was outside.
no, I don't need
Okay.
to see this.
Then I'm gonna go talk to the guard.
Okay.
I'm gonna find the guards.
All right. So Tamori just gets the bright idea to go try to sneak into the sneakiest encampment there is.
Yeah.
And you start kind of like moving from tent to tent. You've got this internal soundtrack that you're just humming to yourself.
Like,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. You definitely have a Kronk soundtrack going on. And you kind of get to one tent. You see that the flaps are both open for the rear and the front. There's nobody inside, so you immediately kind of like start to look in. And as you're looking around, you hear this very soft voice. Can I help you find something? What are we looking for?
Okay. I turn around. Who the fuck is that?
And you see this small samurai in scorpion colors. There's reds and purples and blacks. And you see the katana and the wakizashi at her side, and she just has this long, beautiful black hair that's been tied back in a ponytail that's been braided. Her mask looks like a war mempo.
Say that again?
A mempo, the war mempo that samurai would wear when they go to war, to cover the face. But it looks like just a pile of scorpions. Like you don't know where one scorpion ends and the other begins. Like it's just a writhing mass of scorpions. And
On her mask?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. The motif is very striking, and as she moves her face and catches different angles of the light, it almost looks like the scorpions are moving.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. But she just kind of has her eyes wide, and she's just kind of like has her arms behind her back, and she's just kind of looking where you're looking, and just kind of looks over at you. So,
I bow to her and introduce myself. And then ask her who she is. Hello.
Oh, great. If they have a cool mask, they get a bow first, not a glare.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
she's also a lady, and I'm a little particular to pretty women, so
yeah. But she bows, and you can see that her eyes kind of squint, like she's smiling behind her mask. And she's like, "Tamori-san, it is a pleasure to meet you. I've heard much about you. I am Shosuro Nawako. It's nice to meet you.
Sura, nah. Do I know this person?
You don't. You never.
I don't know this
You
person.
don't hang out with scorpions.
Right. I'm assuming that I'm like a building taller than her, so I get
Yeah.
on my knees and I kind of just like sit on my feet and I ask her,
She drops
"You've
down
heard a
so that
lot about
you're both like eye level. Like she pulls a little stool out just so she can sit and
got it. You've heard about me?"
yeah, yeah. And she grabs your hands.
So Tamori is very trying to act very cool, calm, and collected. Like, yeah, of course people know about me, but Tamori's like, "Oh, yes, I know about you too."
Oh, please tell me what you know.
Of course. You first. Ladies are always first. So, um, and then I pat her hand on my hand since she grabbed my hand so familiarly.
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, no, you first. You're a lady. You go for it.
Oh no, please! I must know what you've heard so I can dissuade any falsehoods.
I've heard that you're the most beautiful scorpion on this side of the encampment.
This is true.
The top half is lovely. Can't see the bottom.
You see her. You see her grab her boobs, and she's like, "Just the top half."
Oh God! Oh my God! Oh,
Oh dear.
oh my!
Oh.
Okay. So I immediately take my hands back and put them to my sides. And in my head, I'm thinking, "Oh, this is how they're sneaky. This is what they do." Um, they look down and they're like, I meant your eyes. I meant your eyes."
Oh, you meant the top half of my face. And she scooches her stool even closer to you.
I meant the top half of your face. It's great. It's great.
So
What
the
did you
top
hear about
half
me?
the top half of my body is terrible then is what you're saying.
No, we're not matching. We're not matching. Okay. Tamori thinks back to that guy from their Gembuku ceremony,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Right. Remember that guy that was like super suave and was like with roses and shit?
Yes.
That's the energy that Tamori is trying to match right now because they are not very good at whatever is going on here. So he says some sort of, I don't know, he said something once about like a flower and there was a poem. Tamori recites it to the best of their knowledge. What can I roll to see if I actually
Oh,
remember?
this is fantastic.
This is amazing.
This is much better than I imagined.
I love everything about this, and that's why I wanted to see it happen.
You can roll.
Perform?
No.
Not etiquette. She just grabbed her tits.
I mean, that
No.
might be courtier.
Yeah, I think the best
Courtier?
thing, the best ability would be courtier.
Okay, all right. Fuck
Oh.
me.
Oh, you don't have any ranks in courtier.
Oh, but I'm fine. I'm
Is that
not
the
half
untrained
bad.
roll?
13.
I'm not half bad.
That's average for Tamori.
Hey, fuck off.
It's not a lie.
She kind of tilts her head at you and she's like, I think you're right. We're not matching. Let me see if this will help. And she grabs your shoulder and slides onto your lap.
And he stands up. I mean, they, whatever. He can't even think of his fucking pronouns. Stands up. It's like, whoa. And I puts her down gently. It's like, okay, so what have you heard about me? Because we are not matching.
We can
like they're
be.
frozen like this.
Yeah, and she starts to climb you like a tree. She's like, we can be.
Okay, all right. So What did you say her name was again?
Shosuro Nawako.
Nawako. Okay. So as like the climb like a tree. That's interesting.
Yep.
They are trying their best to like wherever a hand lands to like
Yep.
slip it off. And be like, no, I would really like to know exactly what you've heard about me. And they're like stumbling backwards and being as nicely as possible, just like
Yeah. You stumble out of the tent, and you see that there's a bunch of scorpion guardsmen with their swords out.
got it.
And you see that she just kind of starts to crawl out of the tent like Catwoman.
Catwoman.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. So I would like to line up with the guards and be like, hey, I need defense as much as you guys do, so please help. I don't know if they'll let me, but I'm gonna do it anyways.
But Soshi Tetsuro arrives to see this giant of a dragon surrounded by some bushi, and the Shosuro just kind of purring as she's crawling over to them.
I know her, don't I?
Yeah.
Why do you know her?
What is her reputation?
They call her the Whispers of Victory. She is one of the best courtiers that the Scorpion have right now.
That she is.
And what was, I'm sorry, let me grab her name again. What was her name?
Shosuro Nawako.
Nawako-sama. Please, this is an associate of mine. While I'm sure that this may look untoward, a member of a clan not our own stumbling out of the tent of a lone woman, regardless of station. I can see how other people might interpret that if word gets around.
You see her roll onto her back, and she just kind of, with those little curled, closed fists, she kind of stretches out towards Tamori. She's like, Nyan!
Tamori is literally right behind this one-armed man, like right behind. Fucking scared.
I turn to Tamori. I trust that you've enjoyed your foray into the Scorpion clan territory.
The harshest of glares goes to Soshi, and Tamori's like, I didn't anticipate that scorpions were I didn't anticipate. That's the end of my sentence.
Well, I am curious, and I look back at my courtier friend. Did you by chance happen to make your way into the crane encampment earlier?
She gets up, excuse me, dusting herself off, and she looks at you. She's like, yes, I did drop off some of our extra pastries. It's a sign of friendship.
I make a look at Soshi, like,
He's not looking back. His eyes are directly on them.
well, I whisper it to him in his ear, and he can hear.
I-
He has ears, sonar ears.
So it's
A moment of brilliance finds our scorpion.
You do understand that I have to ask. A serving girl was attacked earlier.
Oh no.
She seems to be doing much better now. However,
Excellent.
if you were there, it would allow. I've been tasked with aiding in the investigation, and as you always know, when our clan is involved in something, it is a dire circumstance when we're asked by others. Did you happen to see anything untoward happening? Perhaps someone lingering around the tent, or one of the girls behaving strangely?
Ooh. I did see one girl that did not take the treat that I offered her.
And I describe the girl who was murdered.
No, no, not her. It was a little less difficult than your dragon friend has been to me.
I see. And did she savor the treat for an extended period of time?
Not at all. I saw her toss it away.
Unfortunate. Is there anything that you might be able to tell me that would assist in my investigation?
She pulls out a folded piece of paper, parchment, hands it to you, and drew a picture of her.
I, with surprising dexterity, I one hand open the parchment.
Yeah, and you do see this very rough kind of charcoal pencil and what looks like hints of watercolor on the outside of the parchment. Uh, but it is this beautiful rendition of this very simple looking girl.
Your attention to detail is, as always, impeccable. I look at the picture. Were they carrying or wearing a wakizashi?
No, it is a bust.
Unfortunate. So there's nothing that you
Face.
can tell me that would aid me in finding the culprit.
It was a serving girl, Soshi-san. They wouldn't be allowed to have weapons.
So, as much as I am a fan of the half truths of my house, I'm going to use one of my last remaining spells, and I'm going to cast it subtly, because I get my free raises.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Uh, I'm going to. I'm going to use Whispering Wind, which will tell me if the last thing that they said was a lie. And the question I'd asked was, is there anything she could tell me that would help me find the person responsible?
Mm.
So if she withheld something or obfuscated the truth, it would just tell me yes or no. It wouldn't give me any additional information. It won't tell me what she knows, just that she intentionally either lied or held something back.
Okay.
Did I do good?
Wow. 50.
I'm a good
The fuck,
spellcaster.
Jesus.
Jesus.
Yeah. There is something hidden in her language.
But to be a courtier, may we speak privately?
Hmm.
I believe you've flustered my large friend, and I don't want them to feel ill at ease as we talk.
How unfortunate. Wanted to be more in their presence than I have been.
Perhaps that's something that could be arranged at a later date. However, for now, let us have a brief conversation. It's been so long since you and I have spoken one on one.
She looks at
I
some of the guards. Escort our large friend out, please.
when Soshi before Soshi leaves, I just kind of like bend down. I'm like, be careful because she kind of just like went for it. And then
I am
I'm
aware.
okay. and then I'm escorted out. Bye.
Yep. Yeah, so you're gonna go talk to her. Tamori's gonna get escorted out. Doji is standing with the two patrolmen who are doing perimeter defense, and you see both of them kind of they bow low to you. Doji-san, we heard that the girl is recuperating. This is wonderful. You're muted.
You're muted.
You pull the Ben.
Yes. So I don't respond to that, but I say, last night, a scorpion came into our encampment bearing gifts of pastries.
Yes.
Did you happen to see the scorpion?
Yes. A woman.
Can you describe
a couple of guards?
A couple of guards. Could you describe? I'm assuming scorpions masked.
All three of them, yes.
Could you describe their masks? What they were armed with, maybe?
Of course.
Any particular thing that stood out about their weapons?
The Asahina kind of puts his shoulders back and he's like, of course, she was strikingly beautiful. So I immediately noticed that her mask looked like it was more for combat than anything else. It looked like a mempo. I saw that the two guards that were with her had their katanas and their wakizashi, but she only had her wakizashi on her. So this led me to believe that she must have been a Shugenja of some sort, or a courtier, perhaps. The two guards, their masks were very similar, very simple, kind of wooden, or at least made to look wooden. One looked like he was made, the curvature, the carving, the motifs made him look like he was always smirking. The other one always made him look like he was grimacing. But she was the one that stood out, I think, the most.
The wakizashi. Anything about it particularly stand out to you?
Simple design. Nothing fancy. There was a trinket hanging from it. Looked like a small bead of some kind.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
Of course.
And continue the good work.
They both bow really low to you. Thank you for your praise.
One more thing. Did anybody else come by last night?
Not that we saw. No.
Thank you. Of
course.
And I nod to them. I bow, but I don't deeply bow. I just bow.
Yeah.
And I will, seeing that, I haven't heard mayhem from the Scorpions clan, then things are pretty stable right now. I have no idea where to go next. Because going to the Scorpion clan unannounced in somebody of my position could probably be seen oddly.
Excuse you.
It worked out beautifully on this.
It worked out real well.
Yeah, it actually did. You did great. I approve everything.
Moment of brilliance. It happens.
But someone of your stature can't?
No, is that the problem? The problem is because I'm the head of this encampment. If I just show up unannounced, it could be a political faux pas.
Whatever your faux gras is, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I know you don't.
Yeah.
You have the political.
Will, can Doji find me being escorted out of the Scorpion
he's going to. Yeah. There's nothing. There's nothing cryptic or enigmatic about it.
Thank God.
But as Doji is kind of going back to his tent to figure out his next move, you just hear, I can get out on my own, thank you. I am.
Turn around.
And you just see the Tamori being escorted out by like 4 Bayushi guards.
Only 4. I'm impressed.
They're confident people.
Yeah, they think they're that confident because I can tell you they needed more. I look at tomorrow. So
Um,
Mori-san. Because we're by ourselves.
Yeah.
Mori-san.
Yeah.
What kind of trouble did you get yourself into?
First of all, I'm offended. Second of all,
Really? Really? We've known each other how long and you're offended?
remember how you were trying to find somebody who's a
Yes.
scorpion? I already
Yes.
found them. So maybe instead of yakking all the time, you should do
Can you
something.
describe them?
They were little, courtier-esque. Well, everyone's little to me. Sorry. But she was really little.
She's smaller than me.
Yeah.
Okay.
A cat lady, and she had a scorpion mask that was real fancy, and then she had really long black hair, and she was handing out pastries in the crane encampment the night of the cacao. So how about that?
Interesting side note, she supposedly came here with 2 guards, something that my guard, the first one, didn't mention.
I still found somebody.
No, I agree. You did a great job. I am in awe and impressed.
Also, she found me extremely attractive, and I had to very suavely turn her down for a marriage proposal. And if you believe that, I don't think we can be friends anymore.
Just nodding like, okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yep. Side note: scorpions are kind of sexy. Is that a problem?
Very big problem. They use that to their advantage.
I could tell. Okay. All right.
Is there people around us?
No.
Good. I could be blunt with my friend. They use it as a weapon.
I found that out very quickly, Doji. Thank you for the late notification.
I thought you knew this about Scorpion.
No, you said to be wary. Did
I say be wary of only their words? Did I say be wary of only their words?
No,
I said
you didn't say that. You know, it's a lie by omission if you don't. Yeah. Anyways, it didn't go great, but the other one's handling it. The one that was here before, one-armed guy, he's handling it. He got it.
So we could be dealing with another shape changer.
I wish you would have kept that to yourself.
Why?
We don't know this person yet. They don't know us.
I know.
He's already a scorpion.
People literally knows all the stories of everything that happened. It's not like it's a secret. People have been congratulating us for our actions on those days. The story's out there.
The story's out there. He just didn't need to know everything. He's a scorpion.
I didn't tell him everything. I just told him shape changer. Did I give him details? Did I say giant spiders hidden inside bodies happen to be shape changers? No, I said shape changer.
Doji, I would like to be taken as part of a team instead of you just leading into things. Why do you think I just ran into a scorpion encampment?
Because you're impulsive and
you did not talk to me first at all. This is teamwork, and you did not do it, so I decided to leave as well.
But what teamwork? We were just following the leads.
You were following the leads, and you didn't discuss anything with me, sir.
You're right. I'm sorry. I apologize. You're getting an apology. You don't get these from me in public.
That is how you tell someone off.
Sorry, I'm just a little distraught that somebody was able to strike so close to my wife.
I also wanted to talk to you about that.
I might be getting myself killed momentarily.
We need to keep her priority number 1.
That's why I put her where I put her.
How often should we check on her?
I'm going to go check on her right now.
Okay. Then I'll go with you.
Okay.
All right, and as you
And
go,
that's what I do. It's straight to the tent.
yeah, as you go check on your wife, we switch back over to the crane encampment, to the scorpion encampment, and we see the same tent that Tamori had been flustered out of. We see, excuse me, the Shosuro and the Soshi kind of step in, and she closes the flaps.
I will preface this with I do not pretend to be able to match you in any way, shape, or form in the arena of etiquette, social wiles, and uh, the things that you do very, very well, things you're reputed for.
She starts to undress.
With that in mind, are you familiar with the reputation of the one-clawed scorpion?
I have heard.
Excellent. Then let us have a frank discussion. And he reaches up and he takes off his mask
She
and gestures to see if she'll
does the same.
extend the same courtesy.
She does.
Excellent. Now that the out of clanners are gone, I'm not going to. I feel being blunt is my only play here because I cannot compete with you in these arenas. You're holding something back from me. I know it, you know it. I would appreciate it if you could simply tell me what you know, because the other clans have become involved. The local daimyo is involved. The tournament is coming up, and we're now under the looking glass as a clan. And word has gotten out that you, or others like you, were present in the tent prior to the murder. Now, obviously, we are the villains in every tale, and our clan will always be suspect. But even though it is simply hearsay at this time, there are enough other clans arrayed against us where they may take that as provocation to rule against us in the upcoming tournament, or at the very least, further ally against us than they already have. So please, if you would do me the courtesy, just tell me what you know.
He is completely naked in front of you, and she steps up to you and puts her hand on your face. And it's almost a callback that brings visions of your wife, your betrothed, back to you. Soshi-san, someone is trying to make us villainous.
We are villains by our choice and our duty. That is who we are. That is who we will play. And while
Loyalty
I
is not
appreciate your
akin to villainy.
I appreciate your attempts currently, but I am engaged, happily engaged.
I am not trying to seduce you. I'm trying to show you that there is nothing to hide. You would know if I was trying to seduce you, and her hand starts to slide down towards your groin. This is seduction.
He kind of stares at her, just dead eyed, for a few moments. Then, if you're not going to aid me in this investigation, when the kami have clearly told me what you know, and other shigenja, I'm sure, will be able to verify that with their own inquiries, I will simply have to take this higher up the chain of command. Good evening.
She pulls you into her, and again she says, as I have told you, someone is trying to make
He
villains of
grabs
us.
her by the wrist and twists her arm behind her back.
Okay.
Quite deftly.
Yeah. She turns back to look at you, and she's just like, Is this what gets you off?
You're useless. And he just casually pushes her away. I will bring this to other people. And when the investigation continues to point in your direction, I will not be able to sincerely tell them that you are no longer a factor in it.
For someone so bright, you are incredibly dense, Soshi-san.
Again, it is not my arena of speciality. Perhaps you can educate me as one would a dullard.
I've told you that someone is trying to make a villain of us, and every time that I try to enlighten you further, you've pushed me away. I saw a shinobi leaving the tent, Soshi-san. Not one of ours.
So it was not
Someone
a
is trying to
it was not
make
a
a
show
villain of us.
Then why didn't you simply say so before all of this?
Because you are a man who's in love with a woman,
And this is what gets you off.
and this is what gets me off. She starts to put her clothes back on.
Well, if you want, I can try to find the dragon and send them back.
No. I know where to
He
find her.
he takes his mask and places it back on.
Yep.
Can
That's
you
the
tell
last
me
thing she puts
anything
on.
else? Can you tell me anything else about the faux shinobi?
They're good. I only caught a
They're
glimpse
very
of
good,
them.
but they made the mistake of using their wakizashi.
So I've heard.
How did you hear I was the first person to discover this? And he's smiling behind the mask because that's the same thing he does.
Yeah. You made the mistake of telling Crane, and Crane loved to talk.
Yes, well, if you would be willing to work your wiles on making sure the other story gets around of the woman not being as badly injured as one thought because a quick acting scorpion was able to heal her, that would be advantageous.
Do you wish to have this heat brought upon you or your student?
Me,
Very well. I'll make sure that it gets spread. And you see her put her mempo back on.
if anyone is going to be a lightning rod, I would like it to be myself. After all, one potentially dying in service to the clan is the highest honor any scorpion can attain.
Of course. I trust you know your way back to your own tent. And you see her slide out the back door of her tent.
He offers a deep bow. Does her wakizashi look anything like the ones that I saw?
No.
Okay. Oh, this has been an eventful evening. And I go back to my tent because I have to get ready for my evening ritual of putting in the gag and strapping myself down.
Of course.
What? You what?
Yeah. You didn't know
Yeah,
that?
it's a thing. He gags himself and straps himself down with several belts when he goes to sleep. There's a reason for it.
Yep.
Oh, the night terrors.
I mean, you
Okay.
you can call them that, but that's not what he calls his little boys.
I got excited for another reason. I was
Right.
like, "What are we doing again?"
Nope, can't have other people knowing about the fact there's a screaming, raving, terrified scorpion screaming in the middle of the night in the encampment.
Got
Yep.
it. Not
Um,
for hot reasons. I got
No.
no, the opposite of hot reasons.
No.
And I will use one of my 2 remaining spells.
You turned down the hot reasons.
it.
I did turn down the hot reasons. I have
Yeah,
a hot wife.
both of you did.
I mean, turn down or get scared. What's Tamori? You know.
Tamori talks a big game, but the second it gets
Yeah, they do.
thrown,
Yeah, they do. They talk a huge game.
They're like, oh, this is not the game that I played. I wanted Monopoly.
They're like, what the fuck am I supposed to do now?
All right, so Doji hears a voice in his ear.
Oh,
It's actually audible. If he's with Mori, it's actually audible enough for both of them to hear because it's a quiet conversational voice.
Okay.
I have investigated the lead that Mori-sama provided. The person in question did see something, and it was not what I expected. However, the hour is late, and it might be more advantageous to speak of this tomorrow. Furthermore, you may want to have a second person you trust in that tent tonight.
I go, and I'm going to sit in that tent tonight.
okay.
I can't hear what you reply back. It's a one-way
I get it. No, but
Yeah.
I turn to Mori-san, and I go, I'm going to go sit in that tent tonight. I'm just going to give my wife. I'm going to go see my wife, and tonight I'm going to go sit in that tent with my and watch over the body.
Should I? I'm not saying this way. And Mori completely points at you. Do you want me to sleep with your wife in the way that's not in the way?
Yes.
Okay.
In the way that's not in the way.
I look at you, and I look at you, and I very unsamurai like. I hold your hand, and I look at you in the eye, and I say, "Thank you."
You're welcome, but don't make it weird.
Well, there's nobody else around here, so it's not weird.
Too late.
It's weird to me.
It's fine.
Yeah. And as everybody's kind of settling in for the evening, wherever they're going to be, this is a good spot to call it for tonight. So I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in as always. Thank you. Please continue to wash your hands, continue to keep your distance, continue to wear your masks in public. If you are of age, please get yourselves vaccinated. This thing isn't going away, and the more unvaccinated people there are, the more mutations we're going to have, and the more we're going to have to deal with it. So please take care of yourselves. If you feel like you are being inundated and you can't handle things mentally, just know that there are resources out there for you. It's been a rough couple of years, and it doesn't look like it's going to stop anytime soon. So if you're watching live, there's going to be phone numbers in our Twitch chat, so you can find the resources in the area that you need to for whatever you need to, because mental health should not be hidden behind a stigma or a taboo subject wall. Everyone is going through some kind of thing, and if you feel like you need it, there are resources out there. If you are not in the United States, there is a link going up so you can find the resources you need in the area that you live in. As always, this Friday will be our Star Wars game. This Saturday, you can catch me on McStabber Studios for their second chapter of Actung Cthulhu, a World War II Cthulhu game made by Modifius, which uses the 2D20 system. Monday will be our Anarch game, of course, for Vampire the Masquerade. And if not, I'll see you next week for our Werewolf the Wild West. Please take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I will see you when I see you. Have a good night.